All right, we're live on YouTube. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you had a good market today with the stock market being open. This evening, we're going to talk with Andrew from the WEEX platform about WEEX and crypto futures. He's the vice president of the English markets on WEEX. We're going to learn a little bit more about the platform from him. WEEX has sponsored a trading competition for our group. I'll throw that link in the video description and in the chat. They just launched their WXT token recently as well, and we're going to learn some more about the utility of the WXT token. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the microphone to Andrew so he can introduce himself to us about who he is and what he does at the WEEX platform.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Andrew Weiner, Vice President of English Markets here at WEEX. I've been in the cryptocurrency industry since 2016. When I started in the business, it was on secure wallet verification and screening tools and software that was being used by a lot of the financial institutions and centralized exchanges participating in the industry. In 2022, I began working directly for the exchanges, helping them localize products for global expansion and adoption. And I'm now here at WEEX as of March of this year, helping them again help grow this brand identity globally. For the past, I'd say 4 years now, WEEX has built an audience of about 3 million traders from over 100 countries around the world, with a huge concentration of that user base in places like Asia, China, Turkey, Vietnam, Korea, etc. And now we're very excited to be bringing not only the platform, but the new utility token, WXT, to the English market. And that coincides with our visit today with you. And we're so happy to be here. Thank you for hosting us.
I have a question. So you've been in crypto since about 2016. Did you hear about it before 2016 and just think that Bitcoin's not going to go anywhere?
Great question. A couple of my friends started participating in 2015 and they had bought Ethereum. And at the time, I was super skeptical on that type of asset class. It wasn't globally adopted. I didn't understand the taxes and liquidity around it. And even accessing it with what tools were available at that point in history seemed overly complicated to me. Words like private keys and wallets and signatures were all foreign. So it took a couple of years until these same people that had invested and told me about it originally came back to that same bar where we were having drinks and chatting. I think it was about 8 or 9 months later in 2016, and they had made insane gains. And that really motivated me that if this has the long-term standing and viability amongst the professionals in my financial services network, there's a real horizon for crypto. And I started dipping my toes deeper and deeper into the waters.
Yeah, so since 2016, Nvidia stock skyrocketed through the use of people mining cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence until now. So I think just looking back from 2016 until now, these were the years that legitimized cryptocurrency and put it on the global spectrum. I think we are still early. What about you? Do you think we're still early for crypto?
We're incredibly early, and there's some math here to back it up. I love doing this math. So, if we were to look at, let's say, CoinMarketCap as an aggregator today and use their data, at any given day, you're maybe $2 to $2.5 trillion of total market value in the entire industry when you add up everything that's available. From my work on the compliance side, prior to working for the exchanges, our kind of company builds back office solutions for tier 1 financial institutions. Now, those back office solutions perform the KYC, AML, transaction monitoring, wallet verification and screening, and all the functions of regulatory compliance that need to be in place before they can actually custody and then offer over the counter or privately these assets to a consumer, to an end consumer. So being in the trenches of that type of innovation in the industry exposed me to what we see publicly today. Today, MasterCard owns CipherTrace. Today, NASDAQ is a custodian that can custody your crypto. There's a lot of really interesting tier 1 and traditional financial players that have positioned themselves to offer you a product, but it's not on the market yet. And when you calculate what they have that's being pent up for demand. It's almost $19 trillion of traditional securities coming to blockchains. Now that's pretty unbelievable. That's 10 times higher than the total value of the entire industry today. And as somebody that reads charts professionally, what you do is going to get pretty complex when those things start to take off, because we could see bull runs that never end on certain assets. That gets me very excited.
Yeah, I think in the long term, some of these bull runs, especially for Bitcoin and Doge, the ones that are proof of work that you have to mine, the ones that are not just minted out of thin air, I think long term price is going to be much higher. I do this thing on YouTube and in my Discord charts channel where I'll draw like the green blocks, orange blocks, red blocks, warning people if it's going to retrace or to be cautious, or if we think we're going to go price up with the green blocks. And I've said this before, in the future, the price is going to be above 100% of all my green blocks that I've ever drawn for Bitcoin and Doge. And that's why I think we're early, especially with Elon Musk doing the Dogecoin meme, supporting Doge and talking about it at conferences. And
I want people to imagine a day when gold, graphene, carbon, all these very traditional things that you would trade maybe in the Abu Dhabi global markets, or you would use a company like State Street as an accredited investor to access. Imagine when those blue chip opportunities from the traditional space are available to you digitally as a cryptocurrency trader. I think those types of the bridging of that gap that exists today between DeFi, centralized exchanges, and TradFi will get bridged. We've only just built the highways a lot of these financial services and products will drive on into the future.
I like to compare Bitcoin and gold, especially to people like Peter Schiff who go on Twitter. They trade gold, they promote gold, and they also talk about gold stocks. And this is where I think they get blinded sometimes. They don't go out in the field with these gold mining companies to see how their mining operation is going. I tried to mine gold before, and it was highly unprofitable. I got like small pieces of gold and rocks. You have to crush your rocks. You have to melt down to get the gold out. But gold mining, as we get gasoline prices going up, is drastically higher now than it's ever been to mine gold. Even with the better innovation and technology, it's still very expensive to mine gold, and there's not as much gold left in these deposits because the old timers, they were getting like gold pieces this big. Now, people like me, we're getting like fractions of the gold. And looking back now, the old timers in crypto for Bitcoin, they were getting whole blocks to themselves, mining 1 to 50 Bitcoin a day. Nobody's mining 50 Bitcoin a day now.
Well, even if you zoom out just a bit further, why is it so expensive? The value chain around extracting and then making gold available on the market, the administration costs are incredibly high too. Like, I want you to think about this. When I write a smart contract on the blockchain and then I issue an asset through an exchange, that's a very digital end-to-end process. Just use my computer. There's a lot of templates available. There's a lot of professional security auditors. I can probably, end-to-end do a workflow like that maybe in a couple of days to a week. But when we think about a traditional security, you've got the geological surveying people that you have to pay to tell you where to drill. You have your custodians that are going to hold your assets. You have your lawyers that are going to manage your share registry. Like every single transaction of that security, some person is going to have to go through personal verification, potentially corporate verification, maybe even has to show up and sign off on things, provide articles of incorporate. There's just so much friction to participating in the transaction itself. And that makes things more costly. Also, it slows down capital. That's, I think, the number one benefit to cryptocurrency is the velocity that it adds to the market. Ease of access, lowering the barrier to entry, these are all amazing things. It's something that crypto does very well. It is positioned to continue to get better at as we have very streamlined and seamless onboarding practices. But just not having a lawyer to update who's holding a token is a pretty big deal and a huge savings. We will see financial institutions wipe out maybe $5, $10, $20 billion a year in expense from moving to what we do today, which is the blockchain and crypto.
Yeah, speaking about capital and tokens, I see that WEEX listed the WXT token. They had the launch recently. What are some of the utilities that users will be able to use the WXT token for on the WEEX platform?
Great question. So right out the gate, WXT, just holding it will get you a trading fee discount. It's half off the current rate, which is a tremendous savings if you're a high volume trader or a high frequency trader. WXT is also the primary way to participate in our VIP exclusive events like the launch pool. Now, you may have seen at other exchanges things like launch pads and innovation zones where hot new projects coming from the world of DeFi or the world of traditional finance that have tokenized get listed. And there's a giant prize pool made available where people who hold the utility token of the exchange will receive allocations based on how many tokens they hold and how many token holders participated. So for just 1,000 WXT, which at today's price is only 10 USDT in total, you can guarantee yourself up to thousands of dollars of airdrops this year. I think between these two things, staking's on the way. We're going to see a lot of more utility added to continue driving the reason to hold it and some value for the users that have it. And we're super excited about it. You know, in my previous experience, I had the privilege of working on MX. Today, MX trades for over $4. So if we think about that as a side-by-side comparison, similar product, similar stream of focus, similar audience, there's no reason to think that this asset wouldn't have this same potential.
I'm going to pull up the METC token chart real quick because I was trading over there on METC as well, and I got on the platform a little bit later. I think the token was about 69 cents by the time I ever got onto METC. But the MX chart, I'll just pull up the weekly chart for people to see how that token did. When did you start working?
I should just touch on the fact that it's very important to give your audience a reason to continue to engage with you in our industry. I think in our industry, the audience in general has what I would call product fatigue. There's so many exchanges that exist. They all offer such a wide assortment of products, services, and incentives. Why would you choose one in particular over the other? And I think the real value add for WEEX, as an example, if we're looking at the competitive landscape, there's no friction at WEEX for registration. You can sign up instantly. We are not going to violate your privacy, so you can make an account. Also with WEEX, we have the WXT utility token. You gain instant value for a very minimal investment for something that's going to save you money on trading fees in the long term and provide you continuous passive income just sitting in your wallet. We also list the hottest projects. There are more alternative coins and assets with a better depth and spread of liquidity on our platform than any of our competitors in the top 30 exchanges ranked by CoinMarketCap today. So by continuing to reinvest in that audience that has taken us up in these value propositions, come over for a streamlined, easy experience with no friction, we want to repay them for that commitment. And we want to continue to give them reasons to never really have to look anywhere else. You know, Tommy, we've been to these exchanges. When we survey the audience, they've got 3, 4, or 5 different products that they use. They use, you know, Coinbase for an on-ramp. They might trade futures over at a gate. You know, they might off-ramp at a third product. They might stake at a fourth. That's so much friction, so many logins, so many wallets, so much risk exposure for you as somebody trying to stay organized and on top of their trading. So by delivering that kind of like Swiss Army knife turnkey solution that combines all the things we care about as traders and listens to the audience, if there's something new you care about, share it with us. We would love to see it come live and make your experience better. That's the concept behind WEEX here. That's the competitive advantage that we're bringing to the audience. All in one, no friction, and value, continuous value.
You mentioned the launch pool. That's going to be coming this year, right?
Yes. And we have a strategic partnership for launch pool already out the gate. We've partnered with Shibarium, which is the L2 of SHIB. We'll be launching essentially as many of those projects as we possibly can. And this August, we'll be in ETH Toronto at the hackathon participating to see which projects are going to emerge next Anybody holding WXT will get to enjoy some airdrops from the innovations that win that competition. We're very excited about Launchpool. The doors are open. If you're in the audience right now, if you're a project developer, if you're an influencer that's working on something, that's bringing something to market for another team, definitely reach out to Tame the Ark. Have them get it over to us here at WEEX. We'd be open to the partnership. We'd love to see a lot of new projects on Launchpool.
Yeah, I was looking at the WXT token. So to participate in Launchpool, do people just hold it in their spot wallet without any like settlements in place, just holding it there?
So you can use it while you have it. All you have to do is, while you have at least 1,000 WXT, is when a Launchpool event is announced, you simply click register. And from there, you can continue to use your WXT. If you end up trading it away or whatever, as long as you registered while it was still in your wallet, you will be qualified for that one event.
All right, sounds good. Because 1,000 WXT right now, let me just do the math. It's about 1.17. So 1,000 times 0.1171. That's going to be about almost less than $12 for 1,000 WXT tokens right now.
Yeah.
And I know Metsi did something similar.
Dollars of airdrops
crazy
across the rest of the year. It's genuinely going to pay for itself.
Yeah, these airdrops are very interesting because I know some people go out their way to farm airdrops by linking their wallets to like weird websites, and sometimes these websites actually drain their wallets. I like the way that we can do the airdrop farming on the WEEX platform because I don't want to go through and link my wallet to like 20 different projects' websites and hope that none of them are phishing the wallets or gonna take all my tokens.
And that would be friction. And I think, again, as I so went long on, our goal is to eliminate as many barriers and friction as possible. We want users to have a simple experience, whether you're a new trader that's literally just doing this for the first time, or somebody like Tommy and I have been doing this for years now. We have an experience designed and dedicated to both.
On the WEEX platform, that Launchpool is going to be under the WXT zone, or are you going to replace the WXT zone with Launchpool after it comes out?
Great question. So there will be a link out to the Launchpool through WXT zone, but we will be giving Launchpool its own tab. It'll have its own section. Think of it as like an events page, and you'll see what events are current. You'll see what events are upcoming. We'll try to give good timelines for countdowns so people know when they have that WXT available, especially if you're somebody that does a lot of trading. And I'm very excited for it. Launchpads in particular have been incredibly successful across the industry. If I was to use Binance BNB as an example, what an incredible story that asset has had to tell over the last couple of years.
I did some Binance BNB charts for people before, and one thing I tell people, don't short BNB or the MX tokens before they do those buy and burns on the quarterly reports as well, because sometimes when they do the buy and burns, if it's lower liquidity, price goes up very fast, and you don't want to short tokens that do a buy and burn with the supply with launch pools. It's just not smart. And it's another side of crypto. People don't really know much about launch pools, and they know a lot about Solana meme coin token farming, or they know about like sharing links to these rug pulls and scams that people are sharing sometimes that never partition into anything. But the way you're going to audit some of the guys' projects listing, you're going to probably speak to the founders, right?
Of course. I mean, look, with an exchange like ours, it's integrity from day one. We cannot risk our integrity. Your integrity is something you only lose once in our industry. So by ensuring that we're listing projects that are not vaporware and articulating very specifically any risks associated with what we do bring to the platform to our audience, I think users will be able to do substantial research, read the white papers, and understand, is this right for me? Because not every opportunity may be right for you. You're somebody that has to address, as a trader, what is my risk threshold? There's a lot of great guidance you can get following channels like this. This type of Discord provides unlimited valuable educational resources for you to polish up your own strategies, how you do your own setups, and how you decide when and where you're going to participate. I think WEEX in our platform, the user experience, gives you all the tools you might need to accomplish just that.
I have a question for you from a YouTube member. Joe King 1 says, why doesn't it show previous orders or current open orders on the chart for spot trading?
Oh, that's a great question. Anything related to the user interface or features that you find are common at the exchange you know and love, but maybe not are on our platform yet, please send us a message. You can DM me anytime at WEEX_Andy or at WEEX_official on Twitter. And definitely feed that to me in the DM now. And anybody in the audience today, if you have hints, tips, suggestions, or things you'd love to see to make your experience tighter, smoother, or better, feed them to us. We're going to get them done.
Yeah, if you guys have any features that you want to see added on the WEEX platform, you can message me as well in the Discord or email tametheark@gmail.com. I'll work on like designing some stuff and send it over to WEEX and see if they can implement it on their platform. Is there a way? Are you guys planning on adding more alerts for the charts and stuff on your side?
100%. As we continue to expand the depth and scale to which you can customize charts, set alerts, and configure the system to match your trading style and to keep you best informed of what's happening. Essentially, month to month, you'll see these updates get pushed out. And just stay in communication with us. Again, if you don't see something, you want it, so it complements your experience and who you are as a trader, don't hesitate to get it to us. We're open to any and all sensible ideas.
Is there a way for people to on-ramp onto the WEEX platform and off-ramp directly for fiat?
Not currently, but we will be integrating and implementing some third-party payment processors as we move forward here. We continue to scale in jurisdictions where that's available, and we're looking to add and continue to add more options for people to get in and out of the platform. And again, if you have something specific that you've used before in the past or you're hoping we will begin to support, send it through that same channel of feedback that we're looking for on the product side. We're always open and interested in that.
Okay. So the WEEX platform, where is it based out of?
The team's in Singapore.
Are you going to be in Singapore in September for the Token 2049?
Great question. We're going on tour. So in August, we'll be at the Futurist Conference in ETH Toronto. In September, we'll be at Token 2049 in Singapore. We do think we'll be doing something in either Dubai in October or Hong Kong the following April. But stay tuned to our Twitter and definitely look for those announcements, as we will be bringing out some special guests. We're going to have some parties. There'll be tons of opportunities to earn some of the swag that we're going to have at the events for those that can't attend. So hats, t-shirts, pool towels, and actual gold-plated WXT coins.
Sounds cool. I would like to get some of those coins. What about guys like me? I wear double XL for shirts. Are there going to be shirts that big?
There will be. I'm a big boy myself.
Ah, nice.
The camera is quite slimming, but I am over 200 pounds.
Some people are concerned. They're wondering if WEEX is going to do the same thing that METC did in the future with the mandatory KYC. I think
that's a good question.
If you want to answer it, I'll give my opinion as well afterwards.
Yeah, I'm happy to. So, the landscape of the industry is interesting. A lot of the brands that have made that change were operating in jurisdictions that they weren't supposed to be before they had any licensing at all. So this subjected them to more audits than is normal and exposed them directly to the people that care on the securities and regulation side. So, they made their own bet. They went out and promoted directly in places they shouldn't have been. They operated where they shouldn't have been, and they did it before they had licensing. So that put them on a timeline, a countdown, let's say, to having to do something drastic. WEEX, we have never operated or marketed outside of the jurisdictions where we're licensed. We now have licenses abroad. That's why I was brought in. So we're doing this the right way. You also won't see us operating or promoting any products or services where we're not supposed to be. So this will give us a very good relationship with the people around the world that forced some of our competitors to do and adapt some of these drastic changes. And myself as a compliance expert, having spent 6 years on the regulatory side of the industry before I ever worked for even one exchange, I can promise you that the way we're going to carry this brand forward into the future the way we will scale our market share, grow our operations, and continue to broaden the brand itself, will be on the fair right side of the law.
In my opinion, in America, because I speak to different Congress members, I speak to politicians sometimes, and they want more free trading in crypto, because you have the Securities and Exchange Commission that wanted to regulate crypto, but now we have people saying, hold up, no, the SEC cannot regulate all of crypto because all of cryptos are not securities, and they're kind of classify cryptos as commodities as well. There's a big Ethereum issue in America, and Ethereum is like the second biggest crypto. I don't think they went after Bitcoin because they don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is, which leads me to another question for you. Do you have a theory on who Satoshi Nakamoto might be?
You know, I asked Andreas Antonopoulos that once a long time ago, and he told me that even if you could find out who it was, why would you do that to that man? I thought, that's a fair point. I mean, look, something that disrupts traditional financial systems, that's a brave play. And whoever did that, we're very grateful to them. And I think we should all do our best to protect their anonymity, so no one can come and potentially try to take it away from us all. Something to look at just as an indicator of change in landscape, change in atmosphere, change in attitude. I mean, look, in the country we're talking about, and I don't want to be specific because so many countries are like this. Up until a year and a half ago to 2 years ago, this industry was just persona non grata there. They didn't want it. They weren't embracing it. They put up as much resistance as possible to prevent it from scaling into their markets. But, you know, that tune's changed. Now, we mentioned MasterCard and CipherTrace and NASDAQ earlier, but let's also mention the Depository Trust Clearing Corporation. This is one of the largest settlement desks for traditional markets for all of the English markets, and they've purchased Securrency. Now, for those that don't know, Securrency is one of the only end-to-end ways to issue a security token today. Smart contract that does transfer management, order book management, ensures that you have accredited investors before they can buy it, so on and so forth. What an amazing product. And they own it now. Why would the world's largest settlement desk buy that unless we're in for a big change very soon?
Yeah, I think we are early in crypto because some of these big hedge funds that are starting the ETFs are going in now too. But they started going in after the top or announcing it near the top. But even right now, Bitcoin, it went down over $15,000 from the top. And that means Satoshi Nakamoto was down over $15 billion. And he didn't come on Twitter crying being down over $15 billion.
But I think the point we're kind of making here is it's not the top. And what we think is the top today is really just based on the limited amount of data that we all have, the limited amount of transactions that occur. I know it seems like a silly thing to say, but what we do today is very small. $2 trillion is not a lot of capital, especially when you know that there's over 19 trillion in just basic traditional securities poised and ready for the markets. They're just going through approval processes right now. Some are private, some are public, but there's no stopping that train. And that's going to be game changing. That's why we're not just early, we're microscopic. It's crazy to think that we're as early on the ground floor as you could possibly be with assets that have been around for about a decade now.
Yeah, I don't think this is the final top. I like to map out some of the recent all-time tops. It's been over 120 days for Bitcoin almost since the all-time high. And when you measure Bitcoin against inflation, though, it still did not make a new all-time high when you measure it against inflation. And I do believe like long-term Bitcoin will be above 100,000 and then surpass 1 million. But that's going to take time. And while that's happening, people like you and me, we're getting older and older. So I think that begs the question, retirement. People should leave their children some cryptocurrencies.
I agree. It's like putting a penny, an Indian penny in your locker. Oh, man. You know, something else funny to think about is just, not only is this early, the opportunities are going to be different. They're going to be different. These are going to be traditional, securities that come to this space. And the types of people you're trading against are going to have far deeper wallets than what we're used to. So the order books themselves are going to start looking very unique as these things start to come into play. Also, I think about this a lot when we think about tops and pricing. What you have to consider is, how does a North American bank operate today? And most North American banks operate on a fractional reserve. That means that the deposits that they take, they only have so much liquidity, and they have a risk threshold for how much leverage they have against what they do have. Now, when you factor in crypto, the velocity of how that capital moves and changes hands is far faster. It doesn't take 3 to 5 business days like the traditional SWIFT system. And if you're running on a fractional reserve to create mortgages, titles, credit card loans, and similar, how will that risk model look when banks are using crypto as the underpinning value of this type of loan or credit? That's something to scratch your head and really think about, because that could force a much higher price per coin, so the fractions of them are worth enough to even do that at scale. This is something nobody's been talking about.
Yeah, it's getting riskier for the banks. When I go to my bank to get cash or something, I talk to the banker. They're moving towards more charging people for accounts to make up losses. Some people told me they're going to think about maybe increasing transaction cost as well, because they're having a harder time taking people's money and trading it, because as cost of living and everything goes up, people are spending their whole bank balance too fast. They have no savings in America compared to other countries. We just spend the money fast. People get their paycheck, they pay their rent, their car note. Some people are paying over $1,000 per month car note, which is something I will never ever do in my life. I'll get a used car for like $5,000, drive it for 5-6 years before I pay $1,000 per month. Because $1,000 per month into crypto, man, that could be nice. Or $1,000 per month in stocks or gold, copper. I cannot see it happening $1,000 per month for a car payment. But if people are spending that much money for car payments, they have extra money in the long term for buying stuff like crypto.
If you're a bank and you have an actuary build you a risk model for your lending and your leverage, all based on deposit history, and then this new financial system comes around and some of your regular depositors start using it, and that capital that you were expecting, and you're expecting growth on that capital, you start getting less of it and less of it and less of it, because it's being pulled into the digital asset world. That's super disruptive. And that kind of creates a scenario where, if that's where people are putting their money now, guess we have to start offering that kind of custody. We've forced the hand of a lot of traditional financial players. And I think that their point of entry will happen in the next, we've seen some of them already with the ETFs, but in the next 6 to 12 months, it's about to be a huge tidal wave. So I'm excited. I hope everybody's excited. I think now is the best time ever to get passive mining done. Go get your 1,000 WXT. And it's also an amazing time, if you like what you're hearing today, if you're excited and more interested in WEEX, become a sub-affiliate. We have a partnership program for anybody that's having a positive experience on the platform and sharing that with their audience. You can earn trading fee rebates, a discount on your own fees, airdrop rewards, and more, as well as get special community incentives and bonuses designed just for you and your audience, whether you're on Twitter, Discord, YouTube, Telegram, Twitch, whatever. We can create something that matches your brand and your identity. And if you want more information about that, just contact Tommy. He'll forward it along to us, and we'll help get you onboarded. Same thing is true on the listing side. If you heard about Launchpool today and that's very interesting to you, maybe you want to take your project to market and get exposure to 3 million traders from countries like China, Korea, Turkey, places that you genuinely do not communicate with or write in the language of. We can bear the brunt of that work for you, get you in front of those eyeballs, and help you expand the demographics of who's holding your token. And again, if you want more information about that, please contact tametheark on Discord. Let's get a conversation going. We're so eager to meet all of you.
And I'll message you more. I have a project, the Tame token. It's just a small Discord token that I reward people with for doing certain tasks. And I'll talk to you about that token a little bit later on too, about the steps for listing, just so that I know more of the details as well.
Love it. And I would love to have you with us in Toronto at Futurist, August 13th and 14th, so you could take that thing on tour, tell more people about the experience you've been having with WEEX, and maybe meet some folks from this audience today.
So speaking about the audience, you have a few seconds to hop in the Discord TA channel to answer a few questions from some of the people in the Discord.
Checking the time. Yeah, I do. Let's do that.
All right, I'll meet you on the TA channel in Discord. It's right under the gaming channel.
Okay, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and I'll be speaking to you again very shortly.
All right, sounds good. I'm going to wrap up the YouTube side, and then we'll be talking privately on the Discord with some of the Discord members. Thank you. And everybody tune in about 10, 20 more minutes. I'll have the regular automated stream up